Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Day Chats. Today is none other than Super Bowl Sunday. So if you are choosing to listen to my podcast instead of watching the Super Bowl or doing Super Bowl related things, thank you. I appreciate you because honestly, I don't even watch the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl to me is just an excuse to make drinks, eat some good food, and call it a day and maybe watch the commercials, but that's about it, honestly. All is well. I have my drink right next to me, so you know it's about to be good. I made myself a pina colada and put it in a fucking bucket, and if you have been to El Pres in San Diego, then you know exactly, possibly, what a fucking bucket is. Anyway, let's get on to the episode. Today concludes our last episode talking about love languages, and today we're going to be talking about physical touch and quality time. So let's start by explaining and taking a closer look at what quality time is. So according to Gary Chapman, which again is the author that we are referring to, he is the therapist and author of The 5 Love Languages. Quality time is a love language that focuses around being together with someone and spending uninterrupted time with them. The main idea is to be able to express your love and affection with your undivided attention. So it's not so much what you're doing together. It could be running errands, it could be watching TV, it could be having dinner or cooking dinner. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's being present, being in the moment with your partner and with that person in front of you, not being on your phone while they're talking or being on your phone or being distracted when you're with that person, even if you're not doing anything important. So given that, when you are with someone whose love language is quality time, you want to make sure that they know that they have your full attention, that they're not competing against a tablet, a phone, a TV, a game, or something, that they are captivating your attention and they are captivating you. And when you're able to make them feel like your time is valuable and your time is being spent on them, you're making them feel like they are valuable to you. Because again, their primary love language is quality time. Therefore, they value the time that you all spend together. It touches their heart in a way that really matters. They feel important, they feel loved and special, like you were intentional in setting aside time just for them. So the main idea here, like I said, is spending uninterrupted and undivided time with that person. Really, out of all of them, this one might be the easiest one because you don't really have to do much out of pay attention to your partner. You guys could be running errands together and just hanging out together, listening to what that person is saying. So now that you know what quality time is in a love language, it's fairly simple. It's really just devoting your time and attention to your partner and in order to make them feel loved if this is their love language. So how can you speak this love language? When it comes to speaking your partner's love language, it's important that you do things that your partner will feel loved and appreciated by. So this means, for example, if your partner's primary love language is quality time, you'll want to set aside some time, and not only set aside time, but be intentional about the time that you set aside. So whether it's running errands together, making dinner together, whatever it is, make sure that time that you're setting aside, even if it's just to watch a movie together or sit down and cuddle, whatever it is, make sure you're intentional about it, that you're going to put the time and effort to make your partner feel loved. And how can you do that? Well, when it comes to quality time, eye contact is going to be huge. Eye contact is going to allow them to feel like you really are paying attention to them, that they have your attention, that you are not going to be thinking about other things or wanting to be doing something else. You have their attention by making eye contact. And not only that, but when you have eye contact with your partner, you're able to make a deeper connection because they're going to feel like you truly care about what they have to say. They're going to take that communication as, wow, my partner really is wanting to know what I'm saying. Or if you are simply just having a moment to just look at them like, wow, they really are just taking me in all together. I hope that makes sense and I hope it doesn't sound weird. But when you look into your partner's eyes, even for a second, You can't sit here and tell me that it doesn't make you feel some type of way. Maybe I'm just a simp. I don't know, because lately I've been simping so much. Eye contact is just amazing. It truly, truly is. Like, it makes you just feel loved and important and a little intimidating sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. And if quality time is not your love language, this may feel a little unnatural to you, but hey, it's a good practice because we should all be making eye contact with the people that we're speaking to anyway. But another thing that you can do is use active listening skills. So active listening is one of the most loving things that you can do for your partner. And not only that, but for anyone really, to ensure that that person feels like they're being heard and they're being understood. And this one's a little easier said than done, especially if you're the type of person that listens to respond rather than listens to understand. So this may feel a little unnatural to you, but if you have a partner whose main love language is quality time, then it'd be worth exploring and worth trying to be an active listener and listen to understand rather than listen to respond. And being an active listener has a lot to do with our body language as well. When you're listening to your partner, maybe don't have your arms crossed and stiff. I'm not saying don't cross your arms. If that's natural to you, then so be it. But don't be so stiff. Don't stand so far away. Lean in a little bit so they know that even if your arms are crossed, then they still feel like you are wanting to know what it is that you're talking about. Because when someone leans in, it makes them feel like, okay, so this person is interested in what I'm saying. Whereas when you start leaning back, it's like, okay, this person doesn't really care about what I'm saying, so I'm just gonna stop talking. Additionally, we wanna make sure that if your partner is someone whose love language is quality time, then you're asking questions and you're being engaging in the conversation. And again, this goes for any love language as well, but most especially for someone whose love language is quality time. You want to ask questions that are thoughtful and show that you really are paying attention to what they're saying. Try to avoid offering advice unless they ask for it, because then it doesn't come off as you were listening to understand, you were listening to respond. And quality time partners are more interested in feeling understood rather than feeling like they are having some kind of analytical conversation, analyzing their life decisions. Oftentimes they're looking for empathy and compassion and don't want to hear to have their situation fixed. Like I said, unless they ask for advice, then that'd be something completely different. Then yes, say your advice. Another great thing that you can do in order to practice this type of love language, if your partner's is quality time, is to plan something. And it never hurts to be spontaneous. Doing things on the fly can be so much fun, but planning something to do together can be just as fun and just as exciting as a last minute dinner or movie or, right now it's a little hard because we're in a pandemic, but, being able to plan something to do so that person knows that not only are you taking the time to do something with them that day, but you are taking the time across several days to plan something to do together. Because let's be real, planning something doesn't always happen that same day. Usually takes some time to truly plan a really fun and exciting day all together. So when your partner knows that you're taking the time and taking the executive decision to plan something for you both to do together, that's just going to make them feel so loved and so valued. And it doesn't have to be something crazy either. Like for instance, I saw a video on TikTok or like this trend that's going around right now. That's the 4-course meal challenge. So you get in the car, you play rock, paper, scissors, and the person who wins the first round picks appetizers. Then the second round picks drinks. Then the third round picks a meal, and then the fourth round picks dessert. And it could be something as simple as that, where you just block out a few hours so you're able to make those drives depending on how far away it is. But how fun would that be to literally just play a little game and eat at a bunch of different places to get little things here and there. It doesn't have to be some grand like gesture or like some crazy vacation or daycation that you have to do. Not at all. It could be something as small as that. And the key thing here is just to be present for your partner. Be there for them. Listen to them. Advocate for them. When your partner is feeling insecure or going through a tough time at work, you can really show you care by simply being there and spending some quality time together. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything. Literally, your presence is what they are craving and what they are wanting. Even though you won't always be able to take all the discomfort away, nor should you be expected to either. You'll be able to demonstrate that you are present and available when they need you, and that you're going to be a rock for them. So really all that it is for quality time is just being there for your partner and being present. So if your partner's love language is quality time, these are some things that you should definitely avoid doing in order to not hurt their feelings or make them feel unloved and unvalued. Don't complain about the time that you spent together. Don't make a big deal if you have to drive to go see them. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to feel like a burden when you're going to go see someone. Don't view your quality time with your partner as needy, or don't make them feel like they're being needy for wanting to spend time with you if that's their primary love language. Oftentimes, partners will get so comfortable with each other at a certain point, and then one partner, if this is not their love language, will sometimes be okay with not needing to see each other as much. But if this is your partner's primary love language, don't make them feel like they're being needy for wanting to see you or wanting to spend their time with you, you know? Resist the urge to do something else while your partner is talking. So don't go on your phone, don't answer any phone calls, don't try to do something else that takes the attention away from your partner when you're having a conversation with them. I'm not saying you have to stop everything you're doing just to talk to them, but have common courtesy to not make them feel like what they're saying isn't valid. And most importantly, keep your technology away when you're spending quality time with your partner. You don't need to be on your phone, you don't need to be playing video games, because that's not going to make them feel like they're being heard. And a lot of this has to do when your partner is talking, because you want to make sure that when they're talking, they feel like they're actually communicating with you and that they're actually being heard and understood. Quality time can also be very well spent not doing anything in particular. Like I said, maybe you guys are playing video games, or one of you is playing video games and the other of you is just watching. That is a perfect way of quality time. But again, it just depends on person to person and what it is that you guys are doing at that moment. So just evaluate the situation and go accordingly. And now on to my favorite portion. If this is your love language, how can you give yourself love if this is your primary love language? So if this is your primary love language, I personally feel that the best thing that you could do for you is take yourself out on a date, have some alone time, and have some time with your loved ones as well. If quality time is your primary love language, you want to make sure that you spend quality time with yourself first. Like I said, take yourself out on a date. Have a date night with yourself where you get some good dinner, you get some dessert, you come home because we're in a Panasonic, and you watch a movie, you unwind, and you have fun with yourself. Whatever that means to you, feel free to take it as is. But you want to make sure that you give yourself that time to truly be in one and in tune with yourself. And like I said, also spend time with your loved ones. Give yourself that opportunity to be able to spend time with them, see them, spend some virtual time with them if you can't physically spend time with them. But give yourself the opportunity to be surrounded by the people that you love, to remind yourself that you are loved not only by yourself, but by others as well. I think sometimes we often forget that we feel loved not only by ourselves, but by others as well. And sometimes we tend to put too much focus on one or the other. And we forget that this has to be a balancing act. We have to be able to feel loved by ourselves and loved by others just as much as one from the other. So give yourself that opportunity to be loved by both. I don't know about you, but I'm here for taking ourselves out on dates and spending time with our loved ones. So whatever that is for you, whichever one that you feel is best to make yourself feel loved and give yourself that love language, I'm here for it. Do it. Give yourself maybe once a week. If that's too much for you, that's fine. Start off with once every other week or maybe once a month. But I personally think taking yourself out once a week to do something that you enjoy, to spend time by yourself, is just sometimes that's all you need. And I'm not even saying you have to spend so much money. I'm just saying spend time with yourself. You could literally listen to your favorite songs and drive around the neighborhood, drive around the town, and not even go anywhere, but just spend time with yourself, just debriefing and going through your thoughts. That's what I do. Sometimes if I'm by myself and I'm driving around, I'm literally playing out scenarios in my head. And next thing you know, I had a whole therapy session on my own and life is great. So I do this every once in a while and I 10 out of 10 recommend you should definitely do it. But you get the main point. Take yourself out. Make sure that you spend time with yourself and your loved ones. Whichever one you decide to do, I'm here for it and I support your decisions. But anywho, let's get on to the next love language, which is physical touch. Physical touch, it's funny because when I first learned about this, I thought this was all basically going to be about sex. So whoever had this love language was basically just saying this because all they wanted to do was have sex constantly. But boy, was I wrong. Although sex is a very important aspect in a relationship, it's not the most important when it comes to physical touch, and it doesn't have to be. Physical touch doesn't have to be sexual. Someone whose love language is physical touch would really appreciate and feel loved by someone when they literally show physical affection. So whether that's a hug, a shoulder squeeze, a handhold, or even a pat in the back goes to show that that person is expressing love through physical action. So if you're in a non-sexual relationship or you're choosing not to have sexual relations with your partner, but this is your love language, just know that it doesn't have to be sexual at all whatsoever. You're able to express that with your partner, or your partner is able to express that love language with you in non-sexual actions as well. So in order to understand physical touch as a love language, we need to be able to break down that myth that physical touch relates to sexual action. And like I just explained, it does not have to be sexual at all. There are many ways to show physical touch as a love language to your partner. Just like you can show up to support them at a fundraiser, you can tell them how beautiful they are or how handsome they are, or you can buy them something. You can just as well do a non-sexual act to show your love if their love language is physical touch. You can squeeze their hand when they're having a stressful day. You can give them a hug, or even when they're venting to you, put your hand or on their leg, on their shoulder, so they know that you are being understanding and being compassionate towards them during that situation. So if physical touch is your partner's primary love language, then it's important to know what are some ways that you're able to express that to them. And I feel like physical touch as well as quality time are very self-explanatory in the sense that quality time is literally just being present with your partner, and physical touch is being able to physically show them that you love them and understand them and appreciate them. So according to Clarissa Silva, who's a behavioral scientist and relationship coach, physical touch, specifically cuddling, releases oxytocin, the feel-good hormone that makes you feel like nothing can hurt you. In addition to the bonding that cuddling creates between the couple, it also helps boost your immune system. So hey, if this is your primary love language, I am sure that if you're getting that love language, then you are definitely having a good immune system. And you know what? We're here for it, especially during these times. So here are different ways to show intimate love through physical touch. So this would be kissing, hand holding, cuddling, skin to skin touching. And again, none of these have to lead to sex. You can kiss someone without having to lead to sex. You can hold someone's hand, again, without having to lead to sex. Same with cuddling and skin to skin touching, which is just like holding hands or patting someone on the back or something like that. I'm not saying these things can't lead to sex, because they most definitely can. And if you're two very highly sexual people, then I'm sure that's great. But if you're not, that's okay. And these things can mean just as much to you without it getting sexual. Something as simple as dragging your fingertips across your partner's back or neck can be an intimate expression of love. And again, or touching their hair, holding the back part of their neck, or even touching their leg can be an expression of telling them that your partner can be an expressive way of telling your partner you're there for them and that you're physically attracted to them, or that you're in love with them. So now let's talk about some non-intimate touches. So things that don't necessarily turn into sex or maybe give off that expression. So you can rub your partner's back if they're having a bad day, they're stressed out, they're tired. Giving them a back rub is something that I'm sure that they will appreciate, not only because is it relaxing, but it's also giving them that physical touch affection that they're wanting and craving. Sitting side by side to them is also another great thing. If you know they're having a bad day, or if you see them struggling, go sit next to them. You don't even have to say anything. Literally just sit next to them, put your arm around them, put your hand on their leg, and just be there for them. So this one's kind of a combination of quality time and physical touch. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Just go sit by them and be next to them. This one I saw in an article, and to be honest, it's not my most favorite, but I'm going to tell you anyway. They recommended that tickling is something that you can do for your partner. Personally, I don't like being tickled, but hey, if you do, then I'm sure you're going to get a kick out of this one. If you do enjoy being tickled, then great. You know, this is something that you can communicate with your partner. I feel like if you don't like being tickled, this is also something that you should communicate, because the last thing you want is for someone to do something that you really don't like. So definitely let them know if you don't like being tickled. So if you're in a long distance relationship and your primary love language is physical touch, which right now, since we're in a Panasonic, which by the way, I know it's not Panasonic, it's pandemic, but it's a TikTok joke. So if you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. If you don't, then now you know, and you're a part of the inside joke. If you're in a long distance relationship, then the greatest thing that you could do is video chat. You can FaceTime, you can Skype. I know that Snapchat has the video calling, Facebook Messenger has that. There's so many different apps that you can download nowadays to video call. So there really is no excuse not to. You and your partner can set aside some time to have some virtual dates and just show each other that you love each other in that way. Maybe they can order you food. You guys can take turn ordering each other food and having it delivered to your respective homes. That way you feel a little bit of a sense of that love through a virtual manner. So how can you give yourself love if this is your love language? So I'm not gonna lie, this one was a little difficult for me to think of, and truly the only thing I could actually think of is a semi-sexual, well, a very sexual thing. And I personally think that the best way that you can love yourself, if this is your love language, is by pleasing yourself, knowing your body enough to know what pleases you, and giving yourself that opportunity to learn from yourself and learn what makes you feel good. And I don't know, I feel like that could be fun, especially if you don't really do that. Take some time, get some toys, and just go into town, you know? Doesn't matter if what you have going on down there, whatever it is, take some time to get to know your body and know what works for you, what toys work for you, what things don't, what finger motion works for you or hand motion works for you and what doesn't. What do you enjoy going up and out? What don't you enjoy going in and out, you know? Take the time to really get to know your body and know what feels good in your body. And if physical touch is your primary love language, but you don't feel comfortable pleasing yourself in that way, then that's totally fine. I want to make it very clear that you are not abnormal for not wanting to do that or for choosing not to do that. It is totally fine. It's totally normal. So if that's not your cup of tea, don't worry. I also have a list for you of things that you can do to give yourself that love language through non-sexual acts. So something that you can do is stretch your muscles and give yourself a massage with a foam roller to relax into your body. Do some yoga in the morning. There are some really great YouTube videos that are literally 5 minutes long for yoga for beginners, which is amazing. It really helps you feel in tune with your body and in tune with yourself. And just the way that you're stretching your muscles, stretching your body, it just makes you feel good all around. Another thing that you can do is taking baths with a bath bomb and giving yourself a spa treatment. So give yourself a manicure, a pedicure, a facial, deep conditioning treatment to your hair, whatever it is that is going to make you feel good about yourself. Give yourself that spa treatment and moisturize your skin with lots of lotion and oils so your skin to touch is going to be smooth like a baby's butt. So those are just some little things that you could do to give yourself that love language. And again, this is not unique only to women. I would love to see men doing these things more, of doing some yoga and getting in touch with their skincare and body care all around, because I think it's something that's so relaxing and so great. And it really sucks that it's all marketed really towards women. I would really love to see men doing this more. So if you're gonna have a spa day, let me know, post a picture of it, hashtag it on Instagram with like Day Chat Spa Day, something like that, so I could see it, tag the Day Chat's Instagram. And I would love to see it so I can hype you up and let you know how amazing you are and how much of a great self-love journey this is. So if this is your love language, now you know how to give the love. Now you know how to give your partner that love. And now you know how to receive that love as well. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And again, I have been hinting and teasing that there is some tea to spill, and it's really not that much. So I don't want to make this into like some huge thing, but definitely go listen to the next episode that's going to be posted tomorrow on Monday. I'm going to be releasing a new episode giving you a broad life update. Where have I been? What have I been up to? What kind of stupid shit have I been doing? Because ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, I have been like going crazy. My dumb bitch-itis is really acting up, and I have stories to tell. So be sure to go check out that episode tomorrow and let me know what you think, because a girl has stories. But nonetheless, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, embrace the day.